Welcome to the Property Management Podcast. Thank you so much for being here every single week. I'm super grateful that you're tuning in, and I hope that this podcast is making a small difference in the way that you work and run your business and live your life. And today we're talking about a topic that is big and juicy, and it's been on my mind a lot lately. In fact, it's so big, I actually got together with four other coaches and we've created a whole conference around this topic, and that is the future of property management. And if you haven't found out or bought a ticket yet, we have got the next conference coming up. We've got it in three locations: Perth, Brisbane, Melbourne. There'll be a link in the show notes that you can go and take a look at what we're covering off on in that conference. But this is a topic that is we should all be thinking about at the moment. What is the future is changing faster than it ever has before in history. And if we're not on board, we're going to get left behind very, very quickly. So, what is the future of property management? Where we've been, where we're going, and what you as a business owner or BDM or property manager need to focus on right now to stay relevant, profitable, and sane in this fast changing industry we're in right now. Not just industry, it's the world that's changing so quickly. And if we're being real, our clients have changed too, our teams have changed, and the way that we do business has changed. And the truth is, what got us here won't get us there. So let's talk about what is next. Let's start with the obvious. The world has shifted. We're not in 2018 anymore. Back then, maybe you could get away with average service and clunky systems. People were more tolerant, more patient, and they had fewer expectations. But post-pandemic, post-digital boom, people now want more. Your clients don't just want their rent paid on time. They want to feel seen, heard, and valued. Tenants expect quick, frictionless service. Owners want transparency, real-time updates, and of course, trust. And your team wants flexibility, purpose, and less busy work. And we're no longer just managing properties. We're managing expectations. And they've never been higher. So what does the future of property management look like? And this is, of course, my opinion and a lot of the people that I have been speaking with in the industry, that these are our opinions. And these are some of the key trends that we believe are shaping the industry in 2026 and beyond. So the customer experience is king, and it always has been, to be honest. But now more than ever, the experience that you give your clients is going to count for way more than the services that you deliver. So people will forget what you said. They'll forget what you did, but they will never forget how you make them feel. And like I said, this has never been more true in property management. If you want to future-proof your business, obsess over your client experience. Make it easy, make it human. Think beyond transactions, focus on connection. How often are you checking in with your property owners just because there's no reason? Just get on the phone and call them and check in. Do you know who their family members are? What do they do for their Christmas holidays? Get to really know your clients on a deeper level. Do your tenants feel like a number or a valued part of your community? Remember, they're part of your local community. They're giving referrals. They're talking about how great their property manager is, the great their property management experience is. They're 50% of the equation when it comes to clients. So treat them with as much value as you would a property owner. Are your team empowered to wow people or just tick off boxes and do tasks? Have your team involved in the growth of your business. All the successful agencies out there, the team members are empowered. They feel like they're part of something bigger than just managing properties. And that is something that you need to really focus on and if you're having staffing issues, that potentially could be why. You want to select people that want to be on this journey with you, not just people that are doing it just to get their weekly wage and go home on a Friday and not have to think about it. The second thing you need to focus on to future proof your business is automate what doesn't need a human. So if you're still manually sending rent arrear emails, chasing lease renewals, or digging through spreadsheets for routine inspections, please stop. The future belongs to those who embrace automation but keep the human touch for things that are important. So automate the admin, but humanize the service. Pick up the phone, talk to your clients, get out in your local community, go to events, sponsor events, be part of something bigger than just your business. Get involved in your local charities, whatever that looks like. Automate the admin and get out and be a real person and live a real life. This is how you create capacity in your team, reduce burnout, and create space for actual leadership and growth. You also want to, the third thing you want to do is get in front of people, not just on portals. Brand trust is everything. And in 2026, people want to work with someone they recognize, not just another logo or a landing page. So if you want to grow, you've got to build visibility, authority, and connection. And I'm sure you're sick of me harping on about it, but it's the truth. So show your face online. Talk to the camera. Share your insights. Let people see who you really are outside of work. What do you like to do in your personal life? Because people do business with people, not brands. And if that feels scary, believe me, I get it. Do you know how many years it took me to get my face on camera? And I was a TV sports journalist, and I still took years to get back on camera. It's uncomfortable. You worry about people judging you. You no one likes it. I lose my words all the time. If you've been listening for a long time, you've probably heard me stutter and stumble and say a shit ton of ahs and ums. But it is scary. And I recommend just starting small. But please start, because future growth will come from the trust that you start building today. And everybody wants these quick wins. They want quick growth, and they want all these leads and all this new management's coming in, all these sales listings. The reality is it takes time. Nothing is easy. Nothing comes, not any business. Speak to any of the world's most successful entrepreneurs and business owners. They all started small. They all started by putting themselves out there, and then they built that momentum. And it is the same for any business. And there is definitely no quick and easy fix. And you might get a quick and easy fix. You might get, like I did in the early days, I got a developer and he referred 400 managements to us in 4 years. Fantastic. But as soon as that work dried up, I had no idea how to grow my rent roll, how to get more business. My expenses had gone up. I'd got a bigger office, I'd got more team members, and all of a sudden I wasn't growing at the rate that I had previously expected to grow at. I very quickly had to learn new ways to grow my business and put myself out there. And I started small, but if I had started at the start, I would have been 4 years ahead and having a pipeline and having business ready to go when the amazing leads dried up. So that's my advice to you. The fourth thing that you can do to future proof your business is build community, not just a client base. And this one's big. And I've done a lot of research and following a lot of big online marketers over the holiday period. And the one thing that they're all talking about is building a community. And that is because, from an evolutionary standpoint, people crave connection. We need to be part of a tribe, part of a group of people. It was dependent on our survival. And that hasn't changed to this day. Instinctually, we all need to be part of something. So, and this is incredibly difficult as we are moving into more of a digital and disconnected world where people are preferring to spend more time on their phones and on their computers than actually out in the real world. But as a real estate professional, you're perfectly placed to be the glue in your community. Whether that's spotlighting local businesses, hosting info nights for investors, your community is full of people who want to get into the property market, or creating content that actually educates and engages. When you build community, you build trust, and trust That is your rent roll growth strategy, your number one rent roll growth strategy to future proof your business. The fifth thing that you can do to future proof your business is to support your team or lose them. And I've had a lot of conversations in the last couple of weeks with so many businesses struggling to find good team members, experienced property managers, experienced BDMs. And let's talk leadership here, because the future of PM also depends on how we lead. The old school micromanaging everything style, it's done. And believe me, that was me. Your team wants systems that support them. They don't want to be worked so hard that they hit burnout. There's so much talk in this industry about burnout, and yet it's still happening. And I'm getting really annoyed with the burnout talk, because there are so many tools and resources and trainings. There's outsourcing, and there's no need for us to have burnout anymore. And yet it's still the topic that's talked about year after year. They also want to have roles that make sense. They want to know exactly their outcomes, what their expectations are. And they want leaders who actually care about them, not just the results they deliver for the business, but that they care for them, about themselves building wealth and building their own lives outside of the business. Or do they have opportunities to grow and expand inside the business? If they're receptionists, they've got a growth strategy. But do property managers have a growth strategy? Where can they go apart from to being the team leader? Are they able to buy in and have equity share in businesses? What are the opportunities? If you want to keep a great property manager long term, have some deeper conversations about what their life goals are, and work on ways to keep them long term in your business. And there are already companies out there doing that, and I think it's fantastic. It's a great way. It's a win-win for the business owner and for the property manager who's ambitious. Retention of your team is a really big business growth strategy as well, because it costs a lot of money every time you need to recruit and then retrain somebody in your business. And if you're constantly recruiting, firefighting, and retaining, you won't be able to scale, and you'll only be just surviving. And the truth is, you also lose a lot of managements every time you have a staff turnover, and it quickly loses trust as well with your clients. So in the future, the best businesses won't be the ones with the flashiest branding. They'll be the ones with the happiest teams. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this episode, and I guess you can tell that I'm really passionate about this topic. My hands are going crazy, which is usually a sign of when I'm really invested in something. The property management businesses that will thrive in the future are the ones that focus on people first, both clients, as in investors, tenants, and your team. They'll embrace automation, but still keep it human. They'll use AI for tasks, but so that they can free up their time to do the human tasks. They'll prioritize experience over transactions. They'll show up, build trust, and lead with heart. The future is here, and it's not about doing more. It's about doing better with more clarity, more connection, and more courage to do things differently. And if this episode lit a fire under you or gave you something to think about, I would love to hear your thoughts. Send me a DM on Instagram at thatproperty, or share this episode with someone who really needs to lead differently this year. And if you're ready to create the kind of business that feels as good as it looks, please hit on the link below in the show notes and join us at a next event. If you can't make one of the next events, there's also a wait list, and you can put down your location on there. If we get enough interest for certain or different locations, we will take next to your location as well. Thank you as always for being here. Can I ask you a quick favor before you leave this episode? Now, we all know how important reviews are for businesses these days, and mine is no different. If you could spare just a minute to follow, rate, and review this podcast, it would mean a lot to me. In fact, what would get me super excited is if you share this podcast with someone in the industry who you think might need to hear some of the episodes right now. And if you'd like to find out more about working with me or any of the products I have to help you start, grow, or scale your property management business, head to my website, thatpropertymum.com.au, or check out the links in the show notes.